my god, 10,000 years, huh? Alright. So, lads, hello. As you know, I have been going on quite a day today. I hope you guys are doing. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing great. I know people who are living in Indonesia, you guys are having holiday right now. And I know for the the rest of y'all, you do not have holiday right now, which is, that's fine. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing great. I'm looking at I'm trying to look at my model. Okay. Alright. I hope you guys are doing great. Tonight we're going to... So today I have been going through a lot. In a good way. I've been going through a lot of events. The first one mainly is, Barbieheimer, where it's kind of like an event where you know about there was a Oppenheimer movie, but I didn't know a bit about Oppenheimer beforehand and about a lot of like physics in general. Like I'm not anticipate on seeing. So I think that was great for Oppenheimer. I do have to note that it is heavy, like heavy as in it's not like super dark themed, but it does get like really heavy topics. Well, no, actually there are heavy themes. It's heavy themes overall. Honestly, there's mentions about there's a scene regarding taking yourself out. There's also scenes that talk about like war, nuclear. If you know Oppenheimer, then you would know it's mostly going to talk about like nuclear and atom bombs. If you're not very, especially surrounding the Manhattan Project and Nagasaki, Hiroshima, those situations. So if you are not comfortable with it, I do not recommend. But if you guys are, Greta Greta's like vision for Barbie. Like I've been following it, not like super intently or super closely, but I followed like a lot of the um the events that a lot of the updates. Like if it passes by my timeline, then I'll look at it. And I will have to say I'm really happy with how the film turned out. Like it's campy, which I really like a lot. There were some scenes that made me quite emotional. I cried in the theater, but all is good. So now we're gonna be here. So after Oppenheimer, which is super dark, Barbie, which is campy and fun, we're going to move to DICENTRA. A lot of people maybe have not heard of DICENTRA. So DICENTRA is basically a horror gothic visual novel. So if you know visual novel, it's usually very text heavy. If you've seen me play Ace Attorney, it more or less kind of looks like that. A lot of text going on. Gothic horror is a specific subgenre of horror where it's like it really leans on, if you've seen like the Victorian style dark mansions or like those baroque, those kind of things, that's what you refer to gothic horror that have gothic elements tied to them. So I actually just saw this pass by on my timeline and I was thinking, Okay, I mean, I've played horror before. I don't think I've played visual novel horror, nor have I ever played gothic horror specifically. And the art looks really pretty. I've been creeped out for the music for the past few minutes. Don't worry, it's not you. I'm also creeped out. Don't worry. Um, but anyway, I'm just looking forward to seeing how this game is gonna play. I think chapter 2, right now we're playing chapter 1, I think. Chapter 2, I believe, is still in the works. The game is fully programmed, written, and drawn by one person, which I think is amazing. I love one-man crews. This one was made by Safe. You can find them on Twitter as well. And their script is edited by BP. So we're just gonna jump into DICENTRA and see what it is all about. Cause this is one of those. I'm gonna get the fight of my life. I hopefully not, but like I'm gonna get the fight of my life. Okay, let's jump in. I believe the story in general is about a young boy who ends up going to the mansion because he ends up like either he has to seek refuge or something else. I forgot. But he ends up being in this very dark mansion, and in the mansion there are things going about. That's all I know. So we're just both jumping into this quite haha-ly. Okay. 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 Fear 100. Okay. Haven't even started. Fear is already 100. Okay, wait, hold on. Seems like the size is getting to me. Oh yeah, about the Barbie movie, and it's fine if you don't know much about Barbie, or do you not know much about Oppenheimer, because both of them will kind of like tell you about about their chosen topics. Okay, start. This game contains blood, death, violence, unhealthy relationships between characters. Oh no. And horrific imagery that players may find uncomfortable or disturbing. Player discretion is advised. Please play responsibly and take care of yourself. Okay, that's the content warning, alright? So blood, death, violence, unhealthy relationships, and horrific imagery. I drag myself through the rain. It blurs my vision, forcing me to feel my way through the forest, wind crushing against me from all sides. Prayer is my only form of navigation, but I think the blood running through my veins prevents me from landing in God's graces. I fumble over the tangle of roots and slip over wet moss. My bones instantly shudder from the cold shock running through my nails as I grab onto a nearby rock. A pathetic whine escapes my throat. My grandmother would have a ball if she could see me now. I can hear her snide remark already. See what happens when you don't listen to me? As if I wouldn't survive long enough to hear the real deal. I sniffle in frustration and try to shake the feeling away with the rain dripping down my face. She's always right, of course. For just a moment, my defiance had given me everything I wanted. Lost in thought, I lost control of my limbs. I'm not used to using them all at once, and it's enough to throw me back into the slick earth. Now I really want to cry. The storm is harsh. A thick canopy of trees above me does little to shield me from its rage. They passively turn their leaves away instead, tempting me to scream my grandmother's harshest curses at them. Am I losing it? I shakily lift myself from the ground. For the middle of summer, it sure is pouring hard. The rain feels like shards of ice against my skin. I watch it distort the reflection in the puddle with ripples. In the brief moments where the reflection almost settles, I see I need to get home. I tear away from the puddle and trek on. Please, something lead me back home. Something. Anything. Maybe that's a risky thing to ask of this forest, though. Because something answers. It's so faint that I question if it's even real. A howl cuts through the wind. Or perhaps it's the wind that shrinks away from the sound that ambles through. Fighting my way through the storm has exhausted my body. The frontal lobe of my brain begins to neglect its responsibility to remember what reason is. All my instincts scream to ignore it, but my heart, a stupidly curious thing, takes a step forward. My fuzzy ears pick up the heavy sound as I get closer to the sound. It begins to resemble crying. The storm has also started to retract its claws. Was it the forest showing mercy? Or has it submitted to something more formidable? I've lived in the woods my whole life. I should know better than anyone to never get too comfortable. From a distance, it would look abandoned, if not for the hazy red light coming from the rooftop. I squint. Is that a greenhouse? A shadowy figure moves quickly behind its clear walls, startling me. I duck into the tall and neglected grass that grows in the mansion's yard. After a short while, I peek through the blades. The shadow. I can't stay here. I retreat back into the shadows of the forest, keeping the mansion in my line of sight. The moment I feel bold enough to turn my back against it, a powerful gale slams into me. I tumble back hard, skidding across the ground and into the tall grass. Seeps through my bones. I almost wish I could go back to the feeling hopeless. Where else? A faint knocking grabs my attention. I pad to the back of the mansion. Am I saving? An ear-piercing screech echoes through the mansion as the hinges begin to shift. From the looks of it, they haven't moved for a long time. The feeling of ice floods my veins. I stay frozen in the doorway. If the mansion is inhabited, there's no way I didn't just announce my entrance. Fear takes over again. My back paw intuitively steps back so I can attempt to run as far away from this place as I can. The sound of thunder explodes behind me. I feel my body take a life on its own as I throw myself into the mansion against my will. The door slams on my way in. I breathe shallowly. When I come to my senses, I'm in a kitchen. Did I hurt something? Yeah, you heard thunderstorm. But hi Fro, welcome to the stream. It's dark inside the house. The only source of light comes from the windows above the counters. Everything beyond its reach is a void. I see a kitchen table and crawl towards it, scratching my nails along the musty wood flooring in a rush to get beneath it. I stay under the table as my breathing starts returning to a normal pace. My eyes are wide and my ears perked up. on the lookout for anything that could be a threat. The only sound I pick up are the heavy drums of rain outside and the occasional creak of the mansion walls, breathing in the night air. When I'm confident that there's no sign of life inside this manor, I crawl back into the open and immediately shake off as much rain and mud as I can. I let myself celebrate the minor luxury of finally escaping the maws of the weather, but I don't let my nerves calm down just yet. As soon as my eyes adjust to the dark, I take the time to study my surrounding more. I notice a hearth that lacks any. Not that. Sounds like when something disconnected. Oh yeah, it is my tablet. It disconnected. I already took it off. I notice a hearth that lacks any recent maintenance. Dishes crowd the counter, and a thick layer of dust forces me to smother a sneeze. This place hasn't been occupied in a long time. Surely I can allow myself to breathe just a little bit easier in this space, at least until the storm wanes. I bring in a deep inhale, being careful not to get any dust, and tread cautiously. As I stalk further in, I hold my breath at every corner, carefully looking in all directions for danger. By the way, can I redeem Sing mode then lurk again? I don't know if I want to redeem Sing mode because this is a horror game. Or even if you want me to like sing karaoke next time, I'll make sure to plan it. The rest of the mansion is as devoid of life as the kitchen. Most of the rooms here have closed doors. Also, anyway, I'm really sleepy. The ones I could see in were graciously empty, sans the derelict furnishings within. Barely anything is in decent shape. I couldn't guess how long it's been since a human lived in this manor, but based on the scratched hardwood floors and the broken but intricate-looking side table nestled in a dark corner, I have the impression that this place was neglected, even when it was occupied. My nails tap on the floor as I limp into— never mind, just kidding. As I limped into the hallway, my mind settling from all the adrenaline. The ache in my front legs start to swell, and the heat of my body intensifies in the pain. Paintings line the walls from end to end, but it's hard to see them in the dark. Through glimpses of light, I could make out some faded landscapes, a few mountains, some castles, and a couple of portraits. One portrait in particular catches my eye. I stop in front of it. I stare at the portrait, foolishly thinking that it's staring right back. Surely it's just a slight fever settling in and making me come up with these silly things. I don't know, bruh. I don't know. I don't think I've lost my mind just yet, though. As I observe the side profile of a pale woman, I notice that she's eerily the most realistic painting I've seen so far. When she turns her head to look down at my tiny form, every hair on my body goes stiff. Her lovely features captured in oil begin to melt off as she steps out of the painting. Smooth ivory skin shrivels to a deathly pallor. The elaborate gown clinging to her sharp shoulders begin to rot as her torso parts open like a blooming rose, revealing decaying bodies and organs that run down her skirt like horrific decor. Oh shoot, okay, jump scare. I immediately start running away as fast as I physically can. As I scramble to get away on my hurt leg, I hear something that might be worse than a ghost. The woody and spicy scent of incense fills the humid air, creating a hazy purple fog. The sound of chains, moving in a controlled rhythm, rattles me to the marrow of my bones. Footsteps follow shortly after, growing louder alongside the clinking chains. It's coming from the staircase. My breath quickens. I slide to a halt and backtrack away from the sounds. I look behind me and see the glowing apparition of the woman's hunched form stumbling towards me, dragging a trail of gore with a wet squelch. Hide! I need to hide! But where? My eyes dart across every inch of the hallway, desperately searching for a small sanctuary. The footsteps are right behind me. The ghost is right in front of me. This hallway now feels like a tomb. All of the doors are firmly shut. I press against a wall, my heart skipping, when I notice a faint tapping sound coming from behind me. I turned around and witnessed the outline of a door revealing itself. I waste no time shoving my muzzle between the crack to winch it open. As soon as I pry the door open, I hurl myself through, back into the darkness. I walk away from the door, keeping my eyes on it. I'm so focused on the door that I bump into something cold and almost trip on it. Oh! Doors look circly. I hear footsteps once again, this time much louder. I hear... Oh. I don't dare to breathe or move. Oof. Oh my god, I fell asleep there for a moment. Oh! There you are. The voice startles me into moving. No way was I about to stick around and find out what fate awaits me. Every fiber of my being, you know what, this is the most logical horror MC ever. Because if I heard anything even that remotely creepy, I would have just turned and left, honestly. No way was I about to stick around and find out what fate awaits me. Every fiber of my being is ringing with danger as I climb the stairs, with only adrenaline instructing my limbs. I move and drag myself up the iron steps until I'm bursting onto the roof and back into the storm. Oh, you can press it here, okay. I see the greenhouse I had spotted earlier and sprint towards it as fast as I can. Oh wait, let me send you guys... Let me pin the link for this game. It's an itch.io game. Download the game here. It's a very interesting game, so I do recommend it. Recommended. There you go. I see the greenhouse I had spotted earlier and sprint toward it as fast as I can. I search for a small space to crawl into, tripping over a mess of vines along the way. Thunder and lightning roar above me. A bright flash of light blinds me. I can feel my claws scratch against the wet tiles. A door slams shut in the distance, causing a rippling effect in the walls and reaching the rooftop. When the rippling stops, everything goes quiet. The energy of the manor shifts completely. A jolt of lightning from the storm makes my first stand. It charges the air and saturates it with a sense of ozone. I shake the rain from my face. I can't even watch horror stream. What do you mean? I ain't downloading it myself. Oh. Oh, hi Simbu, welcome to the show. Ah, come on, it's not that scary. It's just gothic horror, you know? How you doing? My brain is oof. The whole world has fallen silent, except for the sound of a chilling trip. I freeze. My eyes carefully follow the coil of dead roots on the gray floor of the greenhouse. I follow its trail all the way to the blood dripping on the dirty tiles, and the pale feet beside it. My eyes climb the mysterious figure. I don't think I'll ever forget the sight in front before me as short as I live. Oh my god. Lightning flashes brightly through the tall windows. Looming rose bushes creep along them. White roses speckled across its dark leaves like stars in the night sky. Nope, I'm gonna just listen to you. So you just want me to suffer? See. Keeping my eye on you, simple. The small bright flowers begin to bleed red before my very eyes. At the rose bushes' crimson center, a small girl with her back stands with her back towards me. Blood drips from tiny bite marks all over her hand. A red flower bulb is crushed between her delicate fingers. Ah, yes, her. Drip, drip, Drip. Oh, this is us. We're this little doggy. Very cute. Instead of a strong floral scent, the smell of burning paper and wilting lilacs floods my senses. A whine unwillingly crawls up my throat and cuts through the silence. Time resumes once again. The girl turns, her gaze piercing right through me. The bulb drops from her hand. She doesn't say a word. Her attention is mine, against my own will. Black dots. Whoa! Okay. Black dots begin to appear in the corners of my vision. The last thing I saw was her walking towards me, before everything faded to dark. Oh, my favorite is brutal? Is that a word? I slip in and out of consciousness to flames beneath my feet and an ache I'd rather sleep off than face. I try to let my body go back to sleep, but strong hands force my jaws open and shove something down my throat. The intrusion makes me violently resist, but I am far too weak to fend the intruder away. I wake to the tang of rusty metal and humid air. The unfamiliar sensation makes my eyes snap open. Beyond the small cage that holds me, it's dark and damp. I clench my jaw as I examine my surroundings. Soon my eyes fixate on the ghost staring at me from outside my metal prison. Oh shoot. Hello, girlie. Oh my god, you almost scared me there because I was leaning forward to fall asleep. I yell and throw my body backwards, hitting the back of the cage. I expect the bite of hard metal on my back, but something smooth bends around my shape instead. It hisses at me in response. I don't think I liked it that very much. I think they're talking about a snake, maybe? My claws scrape the cold floor of the cage as I spin. The bars behind me morph into slithering vipers in defense stances, each one baring their fangs in anger. Careful. Their venom will make the blood in your body solidify in seconds. That wouldn't be a very pleasant way to die. I look at the ghost in horror. I'm breathing so quickly that I'm convinced I'll die from lack of oxygen, or so I think. The vipers settle back into metal bars. I make myself small. I don't want to risk testing their patience again. The ghost is not a ghost, but a girl. Her hair looks like ink that has been violently knocked over and spilled onto the floor. It melts into the dark surroundings, contrasting her gray and sickly looking skin. Her expression is blank. I see her hands tightly clutching her white gown. Do you bite? Do you? I want to ask. I reveal my teeth through a snarl and watch as she shows herself with a smile. The fur along my spine stands up. Oof. She starts to move and I flinch. The girl crawls towards the cage and I curl my nails. She reaches for me, a pale hand passing between the bars without reason. It freezes right before she... in front of her snout. Is she checking to see if I would really bite? Has she no fear? Offering her hands so fearlessly in the presence of a beast? I may only be a pup, but the sheer force of my jaws can pierce right through her palm. I repel her from her hand. I pull my face away from her hand and see her startled from my peripheral vision. She pulls her hand back and holds it against her collar. My eyes lock with hers as she stares with me, with her lips pressed together. It will be hard for me to protect you if you're too scaredy cat to do as I say. My eyes snap back to the girl. I watch as she stands up and wipes her hands on her dress. Not a single care about how dirty it's become. Oh my god. Almond, wake up. Okay. god. Maybe I'll just do 1 hour because I don't think my energy. I don't know. Like, suddenly I feel so sleepy. If you want to survive, you'll have to listen to my instructions, okay? Okay, doggy? Oh, right, I forgot that we were a wolf. She tilts her head like she expects me to respond. Don't try to be too brave. If you're smart, you'll stay careful. The others had too much fight in them. It made them foolish. My heart pounds in my chest from her words alone. She gives me another haunting smile. When your arm is better, I'll take you for a walk before he gets back. Is that what she sounds when she's excited? It's unsettling. Sorry, I was drinking. Do not follow my footsteps in which I drank probably like 6 to 8 soda cups today. Give me a moment. I'm refilling my soda with a mix of Fanta and Sprite, so it's like it gives you a light color, and I'll pour it in my Barbie cup. I don't know what Fanta and Sprite. Has anybody ever tried Fanta and Sprite before? What does that taste like? Give me a moment. I'm experimenting while we play this. My name is Dove. Honestly. Okay. Well, I did myself a favor by mixing up Fanta and Sprite. If I perish, then I perish. It kind of just looks like blood right now. Like I'm drinking like blood or something. Well, not blood, but you know, cranberry juice, something like that. I'm totally not a vampire or anything. Just a pure coincidence, that's all. And I can hang Idia here by my Barbie tumbler. Super cute. Anyway, horrible to meet you, Dove. Okay, chapter 1, Roses. Let's save. Save here. Let's return. I spent the night nursing the dregs of my fever. When I'd first woken up, I didn't take notice of how much had already been soothed. But now, vague memories of violating hands surface in my thoughts. Did the girl, Dove, give me some kind of medicine during the height of my fever? My body still feels uncomfortably warm. I rest my head on one arm and glance at the other that had at the one that had been hurt earlier. A clean bandage is firmly wrapped around it. Not enough to cut off the blood flow, but enough to restrict its movement. Was this also Dove's handiwork? I sigh softly through my nose, then close my eyes. Time passes ambiguously in the cage, with nothing to reference. I don't know if it's been mere hours or days. A bowl of water sits in the corner of my cage. I know from the dryness of my throat that I need to hydrate, but I have yet to muster up the courage to approach the bars that slither and rattle very so often. When I'm desperate to finally quench my thirst, the bars relievingly keep their metal forms. Feeling better now, I crawl into a ball, and my tail cradles my face. I want to go home. Exhaustion catches up to me once again. I fall asleep on a crusty metal and wake on dusty wood. The sound of my wind chimes alert me into consciousness. My eyes snap open, and my retinas are immediately burned by the color that floods into them. Oh, on the floor in front of me is a kaleidoscope of lights created by the morning sun, a stark contrast to the dark and dreary setting I was previously confined to. Maybe I dreamed it all in a feverish haze? I checked on the gauze around my arm. It's still there. A weight around my neck brings me back to focus. A collar is secured around my throat. Attached to it is a long and heavy chain that leads to the leg of a large wardrobe. Hi, Kale! Hi, welcome to the stream. We're just reading it. We're in chapter 1, Roses. If you want to play, it's a free game on itch.io, and I put in the link in my pinned comment. Attached to it is a long and heavy chain. How are you? How are you doing? A long and heavy chain that leads to the leg of a large wardrobe in the corner of the room. Ooh, indeed. It's a gothic horror game. Also, do you guys like it when I'm just reading off or like narrating? Sometimes I feel like people could get bored, but if you guys really like it, then I appreciate it. But I want to know too. I take in my latest cage. There are no longer venomous bars to keep me, but the state of confinement has not changed. My eyes move from the rainbows on the floor to the line of the chain restraining me, then to the rest of the room. I look at the windows and find swirling murals and expressive paintings of various creatures and monsters. I just grinding mahjong. You have to teach me how to play mahjong. I don't know how to play mahjong. Is it mahjong or mahjong? How do you pronounce it actually? I don't know. The sun behind them illuminates the floor with speckles of color like a stained glass window. Past the frame of the window, the drawings continue mahjong. So it's the second one, eh? Mahjong. I can teach. Okay. In August. Because my July schedule is so full. The drawings continue in nonsensical scrawl. Less art decorates the walls, but shelves with cracked backbones and hanging tangles of ivy take their place. Dirty cups and bowls sit forgotten in a dark corner. I briefly note two shallow dishes near where I lay. They look like they would be used by a pet. Judging from the surprising lack of grime from under them, it hasn't been that long since they were last used. Anytime. Okay, can't wait. Dusty books and crumpled parchment litter the floorboards. There's no dot there. Period. Taking up half of the room is a canopied bed. Dark curtains are pulled tightly together, preventing me from seeing inside. Oh. The sound of scratching captures my attention. I drag my gaze past the pile of books. There, sitting in a raggedy blanket, hunched over and scribbling over the print in a book, is Dove. She nods her lips and pinches her brows. I can hear her whispering something to herself. No. That won't work. I slowly lift myself off the floor, cringing at the sound of the clanking chains following my movement. Dove makes no move acknowledging my presence, so I continue to approach her. When I'm closer to her back, I'm able to get a better look at what she's furiously writing. Scribbles of occult symbols make the words on the pages completely illegible. Let me quick save? Okay. I swallow a lump in my throat. The collar around my neck feels very heavy right now. Rip! Dove suddenly tears a page out from the book. The jarring sound makes me jump, and I slam into a tower of books, sending it toppling to the floor. Dread weighs heavily on me. I look back at Dove. She's now staring at me with wide eyes. You're awake! I release a small yelp and stare at her dumbfounded. She's brighter. Or maybe it's the luminous light filtering through the bedroom window. Something about it paints her in a rose-tinted lens that makes my wariness waver. Mat malam! Hi gang! Welcome to the stream! Sudah makan blooms? Gimana? Oh yeah, gangs! Have you watched Oppenheimer or Barbie? Let me know. Because it just came out today and I watched both today in one day, and that's probably why I feel so exhausted right now. But it is interesting. Dove kind of looks more like a crow than she does a dove, or actually a mix of both. That feeling instantly vanishes when she gets up and rushes towards me. I run as fast as my legs allow me, but my air supply is abruptly cut off and I'm thrown off my feet. A sharp howl is pulled from my throat. I look behind me and see that the chain of my collar is pulled taut. Is it taut? Pulled down? Pulled taut? Okay. I had reached its limit. Ku baru makan soto. Soto. Enak, anget-anget. Seharian aku makannya apa? Popcorn. I then see Dove standing in the spot I had bolted from. Her gaze creeps along the chain, making its way to my crumpled form. I see blue eyes stare into mine, and I shudder. It feels like she could unravel me through sight alone. She looks at me like she knows. Then she breaks up, snapping tension away. Aku mau ngajak temenku nonton sih, gak tau pada mau gak, soalnya all my friends are the boys. Suruh nonton aja. If they're your friends, they will come and accompany you to watch anyway. Kalau bisa pakai itu. Kalau aku sih color coordinating ya. I use like I wear pink, my sister wears purple gitu, and then my friend tadi yang mau ikut, he was gonna use like blue. So that'd be very nice. Or you can just do like me. I watch Oppenheimer and then after that I watch Barbie. So everyone wins. Oh right, you're probably starving. The others were also very skittish when they had empty bellies. Her voice trails off as though she has become lost in thought. She starts weaving through the mess of book files to reach the bedroom door. Wait here! I don't have much of a choice. Dove returns with, actually, ajak teman-teman cowokmu bagus sih. Kalau emang kalau mau nonton Barbie, really good. For both genders. Dove returns with a bread roll and a bowl. She sets the bowl down a couple feet in front of me and retreats back to chew on her own food. I tentatively approach it. The bread smells like heaven. I lick my lips on instinct. It must have been ages since I last ate, because I watch her tear chunks from it and mark every little crumb falling onto her white dress with yearning. Aku baru makan nasi dari pagi, aku makan mie, okay? Hati-hati jangan kebanyakan makan mie, y'all. I look down at the bowl she left for me. The sight of red fleshy chunks greets me. Raw meat. She gave me a bowl of raw meat. I can't eat this. Well, maybe I could. But the idea of having it has nausea coursing through me. I stare at the fresh blood pooling from the bottom of the bowl. Then, I glance over at the bread. Then back down to the bowl, feeling confounded. My stomach growls. I can feel saliva start to drip down the side of my mouth. I can't do it. Are you gonna let it go to waste? Dove's voice comes right from above me and fear flutters in my stomach. Okay then. My eyes snap up. Dove reaches for me and I flinch, scattering away. She kneels in front of the bowl and dips her hand into it, crushing a fistful of squishy red meat between her fingers. She brings the raw meat to her mouth. I freak out. I rush forward and clap my teeth on her sleeve, tugging her away from her face before she can eat the raw bits of flesh. The sudden change in momentum throws her off balance and she bends over her lap with her free hand, catching her from falling over. She stares at me in bewilderment and blinks. The raw meat slips from her hand to the floor. Blood seeps through the cracks and soaks into the grain of the wood. What is it? She picks up the bowl and stares into the clump of tender flesh. Has the meat gone bad? She brings the bowl to her face and gives it a sniff. Her nose scrunches. It smells okay, still. Dove stands up, scraping the pieces of meat off the floor and throwing them back into the bowl, then starts to leave. Fine, I'll get you something a little more savory. Dove returns with, Aku mau lanjut main sama Amadeo dulu, dadah. Okay game, have fun. Jangan keguling. Dove returns with a new bowl of what looks like stew. I inspect it thoroughly, checking for insects or anything inedible. When I surmise that there is nothing of the sort, I dig in greedily. My eyes begin to sting at the first couple bites. The stew is so bland. It makes me yearn for my grandmother's cooking so badly. From the corner of my eye, I can see Dove watching me like, oh, hold on. have a big pack of like soda right now next to me, because reading visual novels can be like really tiring. Watching me like a hawk. Like all it'll take is a single blink for me to disappear. If only I could. As I finish eating the stew, a soft thudding captures my attention. I look back to see my tail wiggle against the floor. I feel myself shrink with embarrassment. I immediately cease its movements, but not before Dove takes notice. Looks like your energy has returned. Her eyes move to my arm. Does it still hurt? I stare at Dove, then hesitantly put my weight on my wrapped up arm. The sharp pain is mostly gone, but a dull ache still remains. If the opportunity for me to run away came, I could probably do it, but not without difficulty. I make a frustrated whine. Dove tilts her head at me, considering my reply. She approaches me again, slowly this time. I hold my breath as she comes close, her hands hovering near the collar around my neck. I'm suddenly hyper aware of how quiet it is. There's no drum of rain or crack of thunder to be heard from outside. Hope dares to grow inside my racing heart. Will you hurt me if I take it off? I answer her. I shake my head slightly. Dove gives me a curious look. Her hands over for a short moment, then she nods. The weight of the collar lifts off my shoulder. Then I bolt. My swift escape shoves Dove aside. I barely see her get thrown to the floor as I make for the open bedroom door. Dove makes a panic noise behind me. It fades out in my rush to leave her behind. Then, I'm back into the hallway where the horrors began. Oh. This is a funky beat. I didn't actually... Huh. Okay. Okay. I need to go back to the kitchen. I sprint to the stairs. Then suddenly, I'm skidding to a stop when a wall meets me at the end of the hall instead of the staircase. I stare in confusion. Did I go the wrong way? I look around the hall. I don't remember seeing this many doors. A sinking feeling unravels in my gut. I run down a new hallway. Then turn into another. Then another. My exploration of the manor was cut short when I first arrived, so maybe I can't remember everything well enough. But I swear, these are not the same halls I walked through before. After I turned into the 15th hall in this new labyrinth, the sound of something being dragged cuts off my thoughts. I look behind me, pure pulsing in my veins. A ghostly figure slowly walks down the cross-section of another hall. Oh shoot, jump scare! Long hair protrudes from its head, running down to the floor stiffly like straw, and hiding most of its long, thin limbs. I watch it disappear around the corner, completely frozen in my spot. Another ghost. I've never seen one this corrupted before. I now feel extremely vulnerable. Like a beacon standing in the long and open corridor. A tapping noise is next. My heart pounds violently in my chest as I search for the sound. I immediately see another ghost heading straight for me. I yell and crush myself against the wall as if it'll make me invisible. Oh my god. This ghost staggers towards me with bony knees knocking together. A thin veil curtains its upper body, and something that resembles a bird's beak peeks out at its chest. That's its chest? Huh. The closer it gets, the better I'm able to make out the details of its leathery skin, and the beady, bloodshot eyes that dabble across its face above the rotting beak. Needle-thin arms bend sharply at the elbow, and reach back behind the ghost's head. It balances on its elbow, and pulls itself off, forward, and on them. I make myself paper thin and shiver when parts of its elbow brushes against one of my paws. I start breathing again when it passes quickly, then back away way into any intersections of the hall. Another ghost almost tramples me. Oh, okay. Two ghosts follow one another down the path of the bird-like ghost. One is a cluster of what looks like fungi and twisting fabric that belts into bumpy flesh. A stringy network of mycelium trails behind it. The other creates a sand of glass crunching together with every steady step it takes. Its arms stick out like pieces of wood that lightly swing as it walks, and where its face should be is a void framed by jagged, broken pieces of porcelain skin. I can still make out the raggedy maid outfit that clings to its bloated form. I follow the ghosts in a trance. Like a line of schoolchildren, they walk along a well-known path. Normally, when a ghost is corrupted from being trapped in the land of the living, every semblance of their humanity is lost. So where do these ghosts talk to with so much purpose? They navigate the halls without hesitation, twisting and turning to a route already well worn. Done so painfully easily, I have been led back to the kitchen. I see Dove standing on the kitchen table, delicately twisting an incandescent bulb into the hanging light fixture. Dried black tears stain her cheeks, but her eyes betrays no sign of detection. Another bulb is held loosely in her other hand. This one has been burnt out so badly that no light can penetrate its ashy, blackened surface. It took over 40 years to develop this kind of filament. The ghosts around her. Oh, this art looks so nice. I watch them reach for her, and I open my jaws to bark out a warning, but I choke on my rising panic. Dum doesn't notice them and continues to screw in the light bulb. I can read I read that these bulbs can stay the legacy of lighting the dark has been snubbed out forever. With one last turn of her wrist, light envelops the room. Something so wonderful. Box, where it shatters among other pieces of glass. Oh, okay. Jump scare. If you mix Fanta and Sprite together, it just makes a less sweet Fanta. If you guys don't really like, because Fanta can be like this one I'm drinking is like the strawberry one. It can be super sweet sometimes. Crack! She sighs wearily. How long will the cycle continue for? I barely hear her words. Instead, I stare at the wall, where the back door should be. And there is no door. I immediately freak out. I run to the wall, ignoring the ache of my arm, and scratch at old wallpaper, hoping the door was only hidden behind it. My claws tear through wood, but as I continue scratching, the outline of a door does not reveal itself. I back away, staring at the shredded decoration and breathing rapidly. Okay, hold on. Give me a moment. Oh. Give me a moment. Okay. Okay, back to the game. Huzzah. Uh, okay, I back away, staring at the shredded decoration and breathing rapidly. It's not there anymore. I turn my head and see Dove sitting on the kitchen table, swinging her legs. She stares at the wall I had turned up and gave me a blank expression. I explode. My body ignites with fiery rage as I growl and snarl at her. Bark, 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 bark. She frowns and her eyes turn downcast with guilt. I don't know how to get it back. I give up. I whimper and go back to scratch the door more in desperation. I'm sorry. Enough. I'm tired of seeing you wallow in your despair. I reply with an indignant huff. I see Dove puff her cheeks in annoyance. I turn my head away and rest it on my paws. There's no way out. It's better for you to just accept it. A growl rumbles in my throat. Even the front door is gone, so instead of wasting time, you may as well follow me and keep yourself occupied. I wish I could cry. My ears lay flat against my skull. I've landed myself right into the mouth of a carnivorous flower with the sweetest shelter to lure me in. And I've never considered whether it would let me go once I treaded past its sharp teeth. I take a peek. Oh, that's spelled wrong, I think. It's P-E-K, but I'm not sure. She doesn't seem to have any problem with being a caged bird. Is she so comfortable living in these conditions that she can't even see how wrong it is? How could anybody possibly live like this? Her patience reaches its end, and she slides off the kitchen table. I crowd when she hauls me off the ground, and I bare my fangs at her when her face appears right before mine. My glare doesn't faze her. Follow, Wolf. There is much to do. We return to the labyrinth of hallways. Dove seems to know her way around them very well. Now that I'm not frantically running through them, I notice how much different the atmosphere of the manor is. Less dirt coats the floor, ceiling lights illuminate the hallways, and it almost feels peaceful. Dove stops by a closet in the hallway. She grabs onto the handles of the door, and it opens up to reveal shelves and cupboards of miscellaneous tools and supplies. She climbs a stool to reach the highest shelf and retrieves a box with small buckets and brushes. The stool that she stands on starts to sway, and I tense. She climbs back down without issue, then leads me into a room I recognize. She makes her way to the broken side table I'd spotted when I was first exploring the rooms of the mansion, and I take the time to look around. A dining table with only 3 chairs to take up most of the room. Okay. Candles spike up from the top like stalagmites. There's so many that I would think they would render a fire hazard if they were all to be lit. Hardened wax drip over the edge. I can see the end of a fountain pen, as well as scraps of paper. I'm unable to see a well of ink from my position, but I assume that is what runs down the dusty tablecloth in dark splotches. A glint catches my attention. On the other side of the room, I'm unsettled by the mirrors that cover the wall from floor to ceiling. I swallow a lump that forms in my throat and do not let my eyes linger on them. I lay on the floor and watch her slather strongly scented glue on the broken leg of the table. She roughly connects the broken leg to the rest of the table and fans it with her hand so it dries faster. She tests its sturdiness with a light finger, then scrunches her nose when it wobbles. She twists around and digs in her box, then pulls out a roll of twine with a bright expression on her face. My brows furrow together. Dove twirls the string around the leg and binds it tightly. When she's done, she sets the table straight again. It still rocks unsteadily, but it stays standing. Oh, okay, there's the little table. That seems good enough for Dove, because she picks up her box again and gives it a nod. Oh, crash! I leap from my spot on the floor and spin to a loud noise. In the corner of the room, the long-haired ghost from earlier stands bent over a broken vase. I flinch when Dove lets out a startled noise and starts to stride towards it. I bark in alarm. It's dangerous! She ignores me. Ziri! I grab the back of her gown with my teeth to stop her. Dove's demeanor goes from angry to taken aback. She stops and looks down at me. I shock myself with my own actions and quickly drop her skirt. Dove considers me for a moment, then switches her attention back to the ghost and marches over to him. You klutz! My jaw drops. I don't need another person to clean up after. The ghost laces its long fingers together and bows its head. When Dove gets closer to it, she stumbles and cries out. The ghost snaps its head back up to her. Dove checks the bottom of her foot and sees a sharp embedded in the flesh. Red blooms from the small wound. The ghost makes a groaning sound and steps towards Dove. She hisses when it walks through the mess of the glass and drags it with them. It's concern for her? I observe their interaction befuddled. Everything I know about corrupted ghosts is being challenged. I pause to think about how the ghost rushed to her side earlier. The ghost tugs on Dove's sleeves like it's asking for forgiveness. She continues to badger it while digging out the shard out of her foot. I study them curiously. It wasn't because they wanted to cause her harm. I trail behind Dove when she leaves to treat the small cut and when she returns to clean up the mess. We leave the ghost and Dove continues to do whatever to-do list she has in mind. While she paints over the scratches on the kitchen door, trying to match the wallpaper, she speaks to me. Have you met all of them already? She doesn't speak again until we run into another ghost. It waits in the hallway for Dove. She perks when she sees what it's holding. Oh, thank you, Babel. She takes a small bundle of red roses from it, freshly torn from its bush. I follow her to a window and see a tall, thin glass vase with withered roses in it sitting on the sill. Dove takes out the dead flowers and replaces them. Then she pauses and looks down at something below. Her face reveals nothing as she tears her gaze away and makes her way down the hall again. Before following her, I stand on my haunches and try to peer out the window. A chill comes down on me when I look down and see a small patch of graves, each marked by small wooden crosses. I break away from the unnerving sight and turn towards the hall where Dove had gone down. She stands at the end of the hall waiting for me. The bird-like ghost name is Grell. Oh, Grell! Cute. I choked on popcorn. And the doll-like ghost name is Odette. Dove introduces them officially when we run into them as we go around the manor, doing mundane tasks. It's a sight I can't get used to. I can't understand how a young girl can act so normal around such monstrous beings. Seeing their translucent, leathery skin or the fluids that drip from their decaying flesh is enough to send me reeling. But she does not flinch or fear. Earlier, when they had surrounded her in the kitchen, she could tell they were there, weaving their arms together to wrap her in a ghostly embrace. And she didn't care in the slightest. I start to think she's more disturbing than the ghost. To become this corrupted, they would have had to have stayed trapped in this plane for a long time. Why are they still here? Their horrific forms border on pitiful. It has to be some type of hell. Dove walks amongst them like they're her family though. No, that's not quite it. I reconsider my thoughts. Maybe the image of the graves flashed in my mind. It's because she is theirs. I watch her guide Grell's gangly limbs out of the hallway so they can pass through, like they're nothing but an annoying sibling. A monster, just like them. Maybe this cage she lives in is of her own making. Dove does these errands like a routine, putting books away in the library and cleaning up candles burned to the end of their wicks. By the time she finishes winding up a great grandfather clock in the hallway, the manor feels like a completely different place. The air is less stifled by dust particles. The rooms are brighter, and it feels like a home now. As we walk back to Dove's room, the sun begins its descent into the blazing orange horizon, and the evening cicadas make their shrill voices heard. Despite the manor feeling more livable, there is a feeling it gives me that I cannot shake. A void that looms like a presence. It's like letters left unfinished, or tea half empty and turning cold. There's this sense of stagnation that places this manor outside of time's reach, and it leaves a noise that buzzes persistently in the air. Dove stops abruptly, and I almost trip over my paws trying not to run into her. I take a peek from behind her and immediately let out a yelp. Oh, the very first ghost I had met stands in the end of the hallway. Dove doesn't move. I see the ghost stagger down the hall towards us, and I instinctively back away. Then Dove speaks. It's okay. I'm not reassured in the slightest. The ghost gets closer, and I can see the details of her leaking entrails. I make a whimpering sound and hide behind Dove, keeping myself close to the wall. She's harmless. She doesn't do anything. I took a quick glance at Dove when her voice falters. But watch. The ghost is right beside us. Its milky eyes look down at Dove, and she holds its unseeing gaze with cold eyes. I don't breathe. But the sour smell of rot overwhelms my heightened sense of smell. The tension between Dove and the ghost creates a pressure that thins the air, making my lungs ache for oxygen. Pain seizes my chest, just when I can no longer hold my breath in. The ghost continues down the hall passively. I exhale loudly. I startle when Dove clenches her fist beside me. Her eyes follow the ghost for a couple seconds longer, then she cuts off her stare and moves on. I quickly chase after her, not wanting to be alone with this particular ghost again. Ever again, if my luck allows it. I look back for a split second and the ghost has disappeared. Dove's shoulders are squared as we return to her room. Since the sun has set in the opposite direction of her door, the scattering of colors from this morning is long gone. Her relationship with the hallway ghost is much different from the others. The way she spoke about her almost seemed resentful. I pad to a corner, stalling for a moment when I see the collar from earlier on the floor. I narrow my eyes on it and pick it up with my teeth, then I throw it at the far wall. I give the collar one last glare, then curl up on the floor. Dove settles cross-legged in the middle of her book towers and reaches from a random text. I let out a big yawn, feeling heavy after the events of the day. I don't know if there's enough time in the world to process everything that's happened to me since I left home. I close my eyes and feel the tendrils of sleep curl around me. Do you think people can come back from the dead? She asked it so quietly, I almost didn't hear her. I don't think she expects an answer, and I cannot give her one. Dove's Roses. Save. I wince at the bites. The roses are extra hungry today. It's been so long since I fed them that their petals have bleached white. I watch as my blood saturates the colorless flowers, then narrow my eyes when I spot a parasitic fungi at the base of the bush. Part of the bush is already starting to wither because of it. I reach down and tear the terrible thing out. I know more will sprout in its place, but I refuse to leave such a blight near my creation. I walk to a different section of the greenhouse and throw it right next to the corpse of the fungi's latest victim. My heart clenches at the sight. Its eyes are still open. I press my fingers down the lids of the dead wolf, but it's too late. Oh! Are we dead? Is this like the afterlife? The tear on its face is already cemented in time. My fingers curl and my nails snap into my palm, making the bite sting. I return to the rose bush and continue to feed them. Thunder and lightning crash above me. Will it lure in another pitiful soul tonight? Slam! I hear a door slam and I flinch, crushing a bulb in my hand. My ears listen intently, searching for lingering traces of his presence. When I find none, I take a deep breath and finally let myself relax. I tear the bulb from its stem, and my hands fall to my side. The sound of the rain is so clear now that I close my eyes to let it wash out everything else. I relish in its violence against the roof of the greenhouse and tremble under the crisp cracks of thunder. Hold on, I need to go to the toilet. We're back. To pass the time now that is mine again, I whisper something my mother taught me under my breath. Then I hear a whimper come from behind me. Thank you for playing the demo. Oh, it's done. Okay. All right. So that was why did I say forget? DICENTRA. Pretty okay demo. Still like one. That's still the first chapter, I believe. So art, story, and coding, like I said, was made by Safane, so it's made by one person. Music is made by Abby the Wizard. And in editing, the script editing was made by Vivi Contrast. You can find all of these people on Twitter. I mentioned their Twitter handle on Twitter. I believe chapter 2 is in the making right now. So let's hope that the story keeps going forward. It's an interesting intro. So basically, we're playing as Basil, which is a little wolf in the beginning. And we're somehow stuck in this mansion, which is kind of a limbo with a young girl named Dove, as well as other ghosts in the mansion. One that Dove is particularly resentful for some reason. But yeah, I guess it's going to cut the it's cutting the demo short. Let's see if I have another demo on hand actually, that we can try out as well. I believe I have another demo that I can try out that's also like horror-esque. Let's see. You know what? This one isn't horror-esque, but let's just try it anyway, because I think it'll be cute. It's called Rhythm Hell. I believe it was made by... Rhythm Hell is made by... Hold on. Rhythm Hell is like a cute, like, fun game that was made by a really well-known musician. I don't know why I cannot... I believe it is made by Louis Lu Zhong, which if you know like the if you know like the ghost the ghost, what do you call it, the ghost quartet, the one Louis Zhong, yeah, so I was right, it was Louis Zhong. They made a tiny mini game, super cute. Let me pull it up just for like, are you sure you want to quit? Yes. Just for a cute like closing. It seems like a cute game at the time, so like might as well, right? Also, you can see my background for this one. Let's see, where is it? Rhythm Hell. Here you go. Just a very rhythm game, rhythm style game. You can hear the beat, right? So cute. Okay. Just a goofy, cute game. Okay, bring it up. There we go. Look at that. That is so silly. Look at it. Okay. You can hear it either way.
3, 2, 1.
Okay. Speed up. Oh god. I have no rhythm in my head. Oh god. my god. I'm so stressed already. I farted. Hehe, don't look at me. Such a silly game. My score is 5. I'm that bad. I am that bad. Oh my god. So silly. Everyone's high score is 22 or something. Mine is just 5. Cause I'm not a music person. But anyways, I guess that's all for tonight. We did a little quickie bonus for playing Rhythm House. Super cute. So that's all I'm gonna have to say for tonight. I'm gonna rest up. It's super I'm super sleepy right now. But thank you guys so much for coming by. DICENTRA is a really interesting game so far. It is a visual novel, so there is a lot of reading to do. But I really like voice acting it and everything. I'm interested in seeing how it's going to continue more. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow we're gonna be playing Coffee Talk episode 2. So see you tomorrow. And that's all I have for this stream. Otsupai! I'm going to rest now. My head is burning. Otsupai!